I have given myself a challenge for the year. For a long time now, I've had a problem, and that problem is I've never really had the want to learn. I wouldn't say never, but it's definitely something that I've lacked over the past few years. Since I was a kid, and especially into my teenage years, I've always struggled with wanting to learn, like sitting down and learning something new. I might sit down for an hour and try it, but I would get frustrated or my attention would just go somewhere else. But in 2025, a lot happened. I went to a therapist. I was diagnosed with ADHD. I went to a Weird Al concert. But the biggest thing that happened was that I moved out of my parents' house. That's right. I'm a big boy with a big boy apartment. That is 90% my girlfriend's apartment. She gave me this little corner. That's okay. That's fine. Since moving out, though, I've had a lot of time to myself to really think, and I've learned that I'm not very happy with the things that I know, and specifically my drive to want to learn new things. And by that, I mean I've never really gone outside of my comfort zone when it comes to learning new things. It's that is something that I've figured out within the past few years, but I'm ready to sit down and figure it out and learn some things that I've never done before. It's something I felt before moving out, but recently it's been on my mind pretty regularly. So this year, I want to do something about it. Now, for each month, I will be learning a new skill or accomplishing a goal that I have for myself. Now, the thing with this is, at the end of each month, the goal is not to perfect a new skill, simply just to learn and progress in the skill. So look out for the end of every month. There will be a new something. I feel like this video might be a touch late. It is January. I feel like this might come out at the beginning of February, but that just means there'll be 2 videos in February, so it's whatever. There's going to be guitars, cinematography, skateboards maybe. I don't really know. I haven't really planned it all out yet. This video, though, I wanted to start simple, so I thought we would just start with some drawing. Now, my dad is an artist. He's been drawing since he was a kid, so for some odd, 80 years or something, I think. And because he was always drawing when I was a kid, naturally, I wanted to draw too. I wanted to draw with him. So I've been drawing for roughly 15 years at this point. Mostly superheroes and weird characters, but I've always avoided drawing hands. Hands are so difficult to break down in my mind, and there's so many different positions and angles for hands, knuckles, all the different shapes. It's honestly pretty hard to look at. But for the past month, I've been watching videos and sketching nonstop. But to start, I think we should see what my unpracticed hands look like. So, take it away, Other Xander. Okay, so to start off, I'm going to give examples of how I draw hands in different kind of ways, styles, and positions. And then we're going to go to a picture of a beginner's diagram, and I'm going to draw according to that picture, and then we're going to do a much more detailed video. I'm going to reference the video. So here we go. So typically how I start hands is with a let's do a square. See that right? All right. So square with 5 lines coming out of it. And then we'll do fingertips. and middle knuckles and bottom knuckles. So something that I feel like maybe I've already kind of done, and I'm just going to kind of walk through my thought process with this here. I feel like I've already made the width of the palm area too big, but we're just going to go with the flow here. So, after that, typically connect these lines with more lines. And see, and this kind of happens too, is I feel like I make the hands too stumpy almost, and then I guess that kind of fixes it. Nah, not really. So I feel like I make the hands a little too stumpy, and I don't know where to connect here, like this, like where your fingers actually meet is kind of a struggle. And then sometimes it's weird to position the wrist. Yeah, so we're going to call that pretty much done. See if we can shape anything up with our marker here. Put things in bold for the camera, and maybe it's just me, but I don't know, it's just a little wonky, and maybe it's a little animated, but yeah. So the idea and the shape is definitely there for the open palm backwards, and sometimes, people have fingernails, so you want to do a little fingernail action. And put 3 little lines for that middle knuckle, and then kind of upside down mountains for that final knuckle. So already from this, I am I'm not a huge fan of my work here. But we will go to a different pose for now. I would say a considerably simpler pose, which is just a balled up fist. So with the fist, I do another square kind of thing here, and the wrist will be here. The thumb will be here. Let's do that. And then we're gonna have top knuckle, kind of slant that down and do kind of a jut out for the pinky knuckle. And then do these lines here. And so if you can tell, fists are fairly comic booky, how I've started this one out. So, and I do come from a background of drawing comic books. My dad is a comic book artist, so he taught me pretty much everything that I know on drawing, with a few tutorials helping out here and there. But yeah, so the fist I'm not too upset about, but again, it is fat. I don't know. It's not where I want it to be, and that's why we're doing this. So thumb is there, I guess. If that's the knuckle, this detail is probably here, and then see, like he's got a fat old freaking index finger, and then maybe it's a big man, but yeah, here, and then those are curled up right there, and palm here, and kind of wrist here and here, and some more details right there. So there is a fist. Okay, sorry. So there's a fist for you. And again, yeah, I mean, it's an easier thing to draw. I think something I definitely want to work on here is the size of the thumb. Maybe I should have brought it back a little, or even made it swoop down a little more. I don't know. We're going to figure it out. And for this next one, I'm going to do a little bit more of a like whoosh, like a rah kind of thing. So I'm gonna start with a little bit of a different approach here, and I haven't drawn a hand like this in a hot minute, so bear with me. Do like that, and then yikes. Okay, so this is gonna be fingers. It's finger looking good, and then do kind of like that, and there we go, and here, here, and here, and so with the palm area here, I guess it would be flatter like that. Yeah. Okay, I'm in a flow state right now. All right, we're gonna get it done. Where's that thumb going? I guess, could this work? That could work. Yeah, that could definitely work. Okay, so, you know, do kind of like, could wrist come from here? I don't know. Okay, so, with this one, I think we can do, so that will be kind of the curve of the finger there. And then a knuckle, and then another curve for the finger, and another curve here, and here, and here, and here. And all these are curve and wavy. And we'll do a palm kind of here. Okay, so the thumb, wasn't too certain about the positioning of this, but it's not looking too terrible. So, yeah. Cool. Gonna do some of that, And these did end up kind of connecting on their own, so I guess we just put some palm lines down. Oh, no, that's not my outline marker. And there we go. And I do like doing these kind of dynamic poses with hands. It's just, I'm not very practiced in it. And I think often in the past, it's kind of something that I've avoided because it was harder. And I'm looking to not do that now. See, now where that thumb is, it looks a little weird. And I think maybe it's because this could be curved, maybe? Because it was kind of like pushed down inward. And I'm not positive on where the wrists should go here. Because in my head I want it like that, and I guess that doesn't look awful, but the thumb looks broken. So, as a whole, this is what I got for now. So I think things we can definitely work on are, let's see, I think general shape. Let's go with width and proportion. Okay. Cool. So now we're going to move on to beginner's guide, because I spelled it wrong. So here we go. Okay, so I think for this we're going to try a few different diagrams. I have one pulled up right here on my handy dandy laptop, and it's going to be this one with just 4 different kind of steps. So, okay, to start it off, they have their palm, looks like here, and there's a peak there, and then when they go down it's a little longer, and this is kind of curved as well. So there we go, and then here and here, and they also curve this down a little bit, and I suppose that is for wrist purposes. And they did very basic kind of, that line is a little curved. This middle finger is a little curved off to the right, and so is this ring finger. Is that spacing right? I think that spacing is right. Yeah, and then the pinky is obviously shorter, but curved out as if you were going to the right and then moving up to the left. And the thumb is kind of how I did the thumb before. So there we go. Cool. Now I'm going to adjust just a little bit because I do believe it is a little fatter, mine is, than the picture I'm referencing. So what they do next is they do their circles, and they actually do a circle down here and then here. It looks like they don't even manage with the top circles. So they do a knuckle and another knuckle, and then I guess this is the top circle. Never mind, I'm just not paying attention. My bad, G. And so when they do the middle knuckle, they do it higher up. It's interesting. And then all these knuckles are kind of de-escalating down. Here and here. Is that high enough? I think so. And then is this also de-escalating? Yes, they are. So these middle or index and pinky are slanting down as everything goes on. So we'll do here and here. It's something interesting. I guess they're doing this to segment. Oh, I guess they're doing this to segment them. They're doing lines through all of these. So here, and then here, and here. Now, something I'm trying to follow, because it's something that I tell other people when they ask about, like, how to draw. I try to tell them that it's not as complicated as they're making it, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like it's all just shapes, and this next step is it's just defining the shapes. So I'm going to try to follow my own rule and not overcomplicate this while I continue. Oh man, it's all so complicated though. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to do what they're doing. Actually, no, I'm not. I lied to you. But they are defining the shapes here and here. And is that like more of a... So this is a little pointy, and then this goes down like this, and like this, and is this a little curved? Okay, so this is a little bit like that. I should be wearing my glasses. So with the actual fingers, wow, okay. So there's a little bit of a gap here. I'm not gonna circle that too heavy, but And then like this. Is this right? Okay, we're kind of doing a little bit of a skeleton thing here. Here and then like that. And the top finger will be like this. Okay, okay. And these are going to be a little simpler just because they're not angled out like the thumb is. Which the thumb might be a little long on my part. Excuse me. So, following each segmented line. Okay, so this is going to be like this. And it's not quite connecting with everything just yet. Right. Okay. My laptop is trying to go to sleep on me. And then this is obviously smaller because it's the tip of the finger. And honestly, shout out my dad, because I know it took him a minute to get there, as it does all artists, but he cranks out hands like nothing. Yeah, I don't get it sometimes. He's a pretty chill dude. So, thank you, Dad. Okay. I do get the gist. Some shapes are slightly different than others, but like this one is kind of angled a different way, and this one is smaller than other middle pieces, and this one is smaller than other top pieces. And obviously the pinky is going to be smaller than yeah. So with the pinky, actually, this one is going, it's kind of like a sideways trapezoid, which I guess all of these are sideways trapezoids. Everything is just shapes. This one's kind of just a rectangle right here, like this middle section right here, like that. And then is this just another rectangle? I think it is. Actually, it might be. Okay, it is a little bit of a trapezoid. All right, that's okay. So, and then this diagram just completely jumps the gun and does just a bunch of detail. Oh. I wasn't looking at it right. It's now outlining everything. So I think what I am going to do is I'm going to use the marker now. So that's kind of crazy though. Hold on. Oop. So I can already tell that I've made my spaces too wide in between fingers, but we're just going to go with what's going on here. So this is going to be like that, and maybe I'll speed this up because this is kind of taking a while, but here we go, like that. Maybe it's just going to be a little bit of a bigger hand on this page, and then here, like that, and bring this down here. It's going to be a little bit of a big old thumb area right there, and then I think I can just connect it like that. And this will run up a little bit more than I was planning. And connect. Okay, so connect fingers and just follow the swoops, and all your swoops will come true. Someone is blasting music in my complex right now. I'm so sorry if you hear that. They're having a good time. Okay. if I make the fingers just a little bit bigger, or no, I'm just gonna follow the diagram. I'm just gonna follow the freaking diagram, bro. Okay, his finger's a little fat. That's okay. He's got a thick hand. Okay, and then obviously Pinky is skinny. She's skinny. Here. Not that skinny. Jesus. Okay. Okay. So this needs to jut out a little bit, and then here, and we're gonna end it with the wrist right there. Okay. So as a whole, it is a way to draw a hand. Now, comparing to maybe this hand, doesn't quite look like it doesn't quite look like the hand on the diagram, and that wasn't going to happen, so that's okay. But you know, I think now what we're going to do is find a fist. Starts off with a kind of angled out shape like that comes down here like this. Okay, so he's not really breaking it down into segmented shapes. Oh shoot, you can't even see that. Need to check where my camera is before I start drawing stuff. But so he's doing these bigger shapes and then not really segmenting the fingers like the previous one up here. So I guess I'll follow that. Sure. Different styles. So he kind of has the palm, and then it does a little bit of a curve here, and in the curve is a fold for the thumb, and the thumb does like this. Come alive, thank you. Okay. Thumb kind of does like this. Oh, okay. Hold on. That's something I haven't done yet, is erase. I forgot I had that power. So the thumb is out a little bit more like that, and then like this, and then when it comes back and curves, it hits this corner right here. So we want to do that. So this is looking a little strange. And part of that is because I jutted that out way too much, and then this is not where it needs to be. So maybe this isn't the greatest diagram to follow, but you know, we're doing what we can. This is from howtodrawforkids.com. So I don't know. I feel like this is a little bit of a complicated way to do it, but we're doing it. And then they immediately go in and do the freaking thumbnail. What? I don't even know how to do a thumbnail on YouTube for real. I guess I would need Photoshop. But okay, and then we do a knuckle here, and this kind of, everything is very round with this one. And then this is kind of like the finger is sticking out here, and then the knuckle is here. Okay. That's looking pretty close. So this one, you do see way more of the whole finger. I feel like this is good, like this. And then the pinky is an interesting start to the shape. So you kind of go out like this and then in and down here. Okay, and then there's a little bit of a fold going on. And then they want us to make a little butt for the palm. And that's kind of the shape for that. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the marker and shape things up a little bit. So again, it is interesting. This one is not like there was no construction work with this. And my thumb's a little wonky, so I got a wonky thumb. Thumba. Yeah, okay. So that one was maybe not the kind of thing that I wanted, but I did it. So that's where we are on that. I guess next we will try to find a similar thing to this one, and then after that we will get on to the video breakdowns for sketching. So BRB was the thing Harper does. That's for me in the edit. Nobody else can see that I did that except for Jaden and Harper. What the heck is that? That's weird looking. 58%. This battery drains freaking fast. Okay. So, then go back. Drawing hand diagram. Dang it. Oh, my capitalizations are wrong. All down there. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Goodness. Ugh. We're gonna do hand poses and it'll be there. You look so rough. Just a feeling done. Mama's boy can't enjoy. Okay. I like this one. Oh wait, there's this one too. I think I like the other one better. Maybe. All these toys. This one? Oh shoot, what? Get me out of here. God dang it, what are we doing? Hello? What the frick? Wait. Pinterest. Pique my interest. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, so for this one, it is kind of like this one, and the steps aren't broken down as like detailed as this one was, but it is still more detailed than this one. So it looks like we have a shape kind of going out like this, and it goes up here, up like this. Can we see that? Center that for you. And sorry about the shadow. Here like this, it looks like, and then droops back down here. And I want to say it does like a little bit of a thing here, and then now what this one does is it makes the hand a three-dimensional kind of plane here with these lines. I'm going to say this does like that. There we go. And put some palm lines down. Okay. And then it's for the next step after putting those lines down. It makes a place for the thumb. So I'm going to bring that out just a little bit more, and then here and here, and I'm going to do like this. Is that about where that is? That's a little low. And I erased it and put about the same thing there, which is okay. Happens in life. Okay, so this is where it's probably going to get a little tricky, is the finger placement. So, I mean, the fingers themselves are fairly simple, but looking at it, it's a little overwhelming, these positions. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take notes from my previous hands and do my circles, because that might help me, and I can integrate how I draw a little bit into these newer ways. This index kind of goes here with it and is jutting out a little bit like that. And swoops back down, and it's not that fat, so we're going to bring that back in. And then here, right? Yeah, I would say about there, and then like this. So okay, and there's a little bit of a indication of separation right there. And then for the middle finger, it kind of comes down about here, and it's a little bit of a bump, and then it swoops back up, and then yeah, maybe not that angled backwards. Let's retry that just a second. Okay, so here and then like that. So I think, yeah, that's better. And stops right there, and kind of has a little bit of an inward before going almost straight down. I'm going to thin that out just a little bit right there. Yeah, that's good. And it has a little, right after that bump, it has a little bit of a whoop. And for ring finger, start with a little indentation here, and then bam, bam. Let's do a little bit of a connection right there. Ring finger is fairly simple right now. It's a little bit of an out here, and then brings it back. Okay, it can't be too distinguished or it'll look strange. But like that, and then I think like that. Might be making this one a little too long, but we'll see. It's kind of just a little bit of a hot dog finger. So the pinky next is like here, and with a little bit of a line going up and out like that. And then the pinky kind of just swoops back down into here. And the thumb was the only one that we actually prepped a circle for in the diagram. And comes out like that, and here, can you see that? All right. And this line is mostly straight, but fingers are not a perfect line, so we're going to take some pressure off and try not to make that a perfect line. And then after that, we're bringing it back around and coming down here. Okay. I'm gonna hit this with the ink marker, my ink pen, and see how we like this one. Okay, so here are those examples, and now I am going to move on to the video diagram by a professional artist who is professional. So we'll be right back. So the video that I've chosen to look at for this is how to draw hands and hand poses from YouTuber Jazza. And Jazz is actually someone that I have watched for a few years at this point, like probably almost 8 years. And I bet I have referred to this video before, but I don't really remember it. So we're just gonna get into it and see what Mr. Australia's got for us.
Here, the hand is a bit of a rectangular square, which is bigger at the top, a bit in towards the wrist. This is the first shape, is to using these shapes. But the point I'm trying to demonstrate is if we use...
Okay, so at the start of this video, Jazza pretty much breaks down the shapes of the hand, kind of like we have been doing, but he takes it even further into simplicity, and takes away, drawing the individual lines for the fingers and just makes the fingers kind of long rectangular blocks, which I think is very easy. And I mean, I don't know if that's a specific thing that he learned to do just over time or if that's how he was taught. But we're gonna go ahead and try that. It did line up pretty well with starting off with this pose, so we're gonna go ahead and try that. This video is a little longer, and I don't really have time to watch all of it in just this one sitting, so I will definitely come back to it. And if it's a video that you guys would like to check out, I'm going to link it in the description below. So thank you, Mr. Jazza. I appreciate you, and hate that you're good at everything kind of right off the bat, so keep making them. So something I am noticing is before he does his fingers, he does kind of do a little, like, kind of tiny Wolverine claws for spacing purposes, which is interesting. But yeah, his pinky is super simple. It kind of just juts out right here. And I'm gonna do like that. Yeah, that's pretty close actually to his. And there we go. Do this ring finger here. I'm not gonna I'm trying not to think about it too much, as they are just blocks. And then his middle here, and his index is a little fatter at the bottom there. And this is right now all about learning different ways to draw these, to draw hands, to figure out which way fits my style the best. Which I say my style, I'm still kind of figuring out my style. I've gotten closer recently, but definitely still trying to figure out how I would like to make my own kind of thing. And I'm sorry I keep erasing these. I am overthinking it. I am an overthinker. I would like to reiterate, though, that the final goal of all these skills that I'm trying to learn is not to be, is not to perfect them. It is simply to start to build upon them. So yeah, I'm not too I'm gonna try not to be too perfection-y about it, because I can be a little perfection-y when it comes to myself and things that I try to do. So when he does the thumb, he starts at the base right here, as thumbs do, and he's jutting out here. He's not going too far with it. Does a little stopping point right there, makes a little kind of angle there, and then here, and he does this. Okay, all good. Looks a little wonky. I need to chill out, dude. There we go. So I actually got very, very invested in this video, and will definitely be coming back to take notes. But we're kind of breaking away from the open fist and then dramatic open, because his video is kind of doing something a little different. So we're going with open, and then he's about to illustrate in a naturally like kind of hanging hand. So I'm going to do my best to follow along with that.
Instructions.
And I think for this one, I'm not actually gonna. I'm not gonna talk that much because he's going a little fast. So this is the roughly inked version of, or my version of how Jazza did it, and it is angled a little differently than his, which is okay. But I think in general this is kind of maybe the best, the two best hands that we have on the paper here. And so far, I really like how he's breaking everything down. He's doing like these kind of square blocks, which is something that I have done before, and I think I do prefer that as a way of showing three-dimensionally where fingers will go. So yeah, so far, big fan of what's going on here. I'm gonna have to fast forward just a little bit to get to a different hand pose, just because I'm running out of time a little bit. I gotta go to work soon, so yeah.
And the fin shape of the closed fist, because we have the bit that pops out, which is for the thumb, and then sometimes I like to add little bumps to indicate some fingers, or even have the first knuckle out. Construction, which means that our line work can then go on top to draw the closed fist. I also like to show the bumps for the knuckles, and then start to indicate the fingers that are splaying out on that angle. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is simple and organic to get something that looks decent, and that's a pretty easy hand pose to remember and to use, especially when holding position and pose to use.
Okay, so for this one it was super simple, and again kind of a bit of a detour from what we typically have been doing, which is a front-facing fist, and this one is actually backwards. So I'm going to do my line work here and kind of try to describe how he described it, Mr. Jazza. And basically what it is a basic construction work. It's here and then down angled, and then here and here. And the only other details really are this knuckle and this knuckle, which is kind of at a little bit of an angle. And then he went in and did the top knuckles a little bit behind those to show some depth there, which I really like. So like that, and then we pretty much just have that right there. And that is a closed fist. I like writing, so there's a closed fist. So I think for now, this is pretty much what I wanted to do for the moment. So yeah, I have a good start here. Definitely a little bit of evolution, I think, in terms of spacing, and then we got a little bit better with some construction, and then some more of a dynamic thing here, and then a fairly easy breakdown of keeping that hand a little more realistically slimmer, and then when and where to add details and basic shapes. And I will definitely be coming back to this video and taking notes. So I guess for now, just back to me when all this is already done. So see you again in a second. Thank you. Me. After that, like I said, I kept practicing. I even rewatched a couple of those videos. I definitely rewatched the Jazza one, which again I will be linking below, and I watched another one which I don't remember the name of, but I will find it and I will link it below as well because it was very helpful. Eventually I found how I liked to do hands and do the construction for those. And I was sketching and sketching, but the thing is, I forgot to record any of that. I didn't record that. There's like 20 or 30 pages that I sketched. I don't know what happened there. Once I found how I like to draw my hands, I began to brainstorm some ideas for a final piece, a kind of finale for this video. It took me about 4 hours before I got anywhere with these sketches. I tried so many different poses and I wasn't liking any of them until it hit me. When I was sketching all my hands, towards about, the 10th-ish page, I wasn't using any videos or referencing anymore. I was actually just using my own drawings. I realized trying to come up with an idea, I was overwhelming myself, trying to make things look exactly like reference photos that I was using, when I just needed to trust myself and just to kind of go. And what happened was my creative juices just began to flow. And of course, I didn't record that either. But what I did record was the process of my final drawing. Alright, and here is a final reveal of my final drawing. So, cool. It's pretty cool. Something that I definitely might come back to with coloring and stuff like that. But, yeah. So, this is the lead up, and maybe it's a little anticlimactic, but I did do what I set out to do, and that is the important thing. So yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a long one, but if you stuck around, I appreciate you. Why don't you like and subscribe, and give me a follow on Instagram. That'll be at XanderGodwin_films. And my TikTok at Xander RRR with 3 R's. Xander. Come back next month, and yeah, bye.